Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to the video. Today's vehicle is a brand new 2019 Ford Ranger. The owner's had it for about a month and he wants to get it detailed and ready for winter. All right, so having a look around the truck, and you can see it's pretty well covered front to back in a layer of dirt. The box has a fair bit of dust that's accumulated in it, and I have to say, I'm kind of liking the new look of these Ford Rangers. Now moving inside, and there's a fair bit of dirt and debris all over. The floor mats are pretty dirty, and there's quite a bit of dog hair all around the truck to deal with. And as I was talking to the owner when he dropped the truck off, he mentioned that at the time this was the first Ranger with the Lariat trim in the city and was his first time buying a brand new vehicle. So I'm looking forward to detailing this for him and getting it looking its best. And now just before we jump into the video, take a quick second and subscribe to the channel and make sure you've got the bell on so you don't miss out on any future videos like this one. All right, well, you guys can see it's cold and it's snowing outside. So I'll be doing the entire detail in my garage today so I can stay warm. So grab a coffee, grab a snack, whatever you guys need, and let's get started. All right, so I just wanted to welcome you again to the second channel, and the first order of business here is to get my Honda GC160 all gassed up. If you guys are curious, I always use premium gas in it, and it usually burns around half a tank of gas or so on each vehicle. Sometimes more though if it's a really dirty truck with carpeted wheel well liners. And I also figured I'd let you know that this video was filmed all the way back in November and was the very first detail of the winter season that I had to move inside the garage for. So if you guys didn't notice already, this video is going to include as many real-time shots as possible. I did have to speed a few things up, but for the most part, it's real-time. So it gives you a better sense of how long each step actually takes. And I know the vast majority of people who answered the poll that I put up on the second channel earlier last week wanted to see this type of video, so I sure hope you guys enjoy it. Now if you notice the camera shaking a little bit here, I'm fairly certain the pressure washer must have vibrated its way across the driveway and nestled up against one of the legs of the tripod. Now, one thing I always do when spraying out the box of a truck is to tuck the pressure washer hose in between the box and the cab so it doesn't move and potentially scratch the paint anywhere. Moving to the wheels, and despite these tires being almost brand new, they were already fairly dirty, as you can see by the color the solution turned, which to be honest was a little bit surprising, but I have to remember it's possible the vehicle was sitting on the dealership lot for several months before the owner bought it, and that these tires were already starting to bloom. So while I prep my wash buckets, I figured I would mention that I always use the 2-bucket method, which means I've got one bucket with an ounce or two of soap and the other with just water. And basically after each panel, I rinse and wring out the wash mitt in the rinse bucket to make sure that my wash mitt stays as clean as possible. And to further that, I always use grit guards in the bottom of my buckets, which allows the dirt to settle out. And if you guys are curious as to where you can get these, because I think I've only mentioned them in one video on the main channel before, the link is down in the description along with nearly every other product and tool that I use in my videos, so feel free to give them a look if you're interested. Now, one tip I have for any vehicle that might have decals on it is to be very, very careful when washing and drying around the edges of them, because the towel or your wash mitt can snag super easy, and that is definitely something that you want to avoid. Now since these floor mats are so new, just getting them rinsed off with the pressure washer is all that's required. There's no need to use any APC on them this time. Starting on vacuuming, and I always go around with a detail brush to help lift any dirt or dust out of the cracks. And for the more delicate plastics that are more prone to scratches, I always use the ultra soft brush. And if I need a little more agitating ability, then I'll use the boar's hair brush as it's a bit stiffer. Alright, so since this vehicle is only a month old and the interior really isn't all that dirty, there's no need to use any all-purpose cleaner on it. So all I've got here is a damp microfiber towel, and I'll just go around and simply wipe everything down. Now for the leather, despite it being new, there was still a little bit of dirt and dust on it with the owner having their dog in here. So using some of my Meguiar's D181 leather cleaner and a soft horsehair brush, I'll agitate the solution and really get down into the cracks and then simply wipe it off with a dry microfiber towel. And a question I get fairly regularly is what's the best leather cleaner for like light colored leather that has dye transfer from blue jeans? Well, that would be Leatherique. They make some of the best leather cleaner and conditioner on the market. However, it is fairly expensive and it has quite a lengthy application process, but I can speak from personal experience that it works incredibly well, and I would highly recommend it if you've got visibly stained lighter colored leather in your vehicle. All right, time to get the interior trim looking better than brand new. And for that, I'll use 303's Aerospace Protectant, which is going to leave the interior trim with a nice, non-slippery, non-greasy, and matte finish when it dries. Typically lasts for about 4 to 6 weeks on the interior. If you guys like to keep your vehicle looking its best, I highly recommend picking up a bottle. This stuff is widely regarded in the detailing community as being some of the best stuff you can use to dress and UV protect your interior. So the link is down in the description, so check it out if you're interested. All right, moving back outside, and you might wonder why I'm claying paint that is basically brand new. It really shouldn't have much for surface bonded contaminants like tar or road grime on it because it's barely been driven. But when new vehicles are delivered to dealerships, a lot of the time they come by rail and end up with all kinds of rail dust on them, which then sticks to the vehicle. Basically, it's little tiny iron particles that will eventually start to rust on the paint. So it's important to get those removed, get this paint nice and clean and ready for a synthetic sealant. All right, so with a new foam finishing pad on the polisher, it's time to get this paint protected and ready for winter. So I'll set the polisher speed to about 2 to 3 and apply a nice even layer of sealant, which should last about 6 months and get this truck through the winter until springtime. Now, one of my absolute favorite things to do is apply 303 on a tonneau cover, and that's because it makes it look so incredibly good. So for any of you out there with a truck or even a Jeep with a soft vinyl cover, I highly recommend using this every time you detail, because it will keep it looking brand new. I've used it on my personal truck for over 7 years, and the tonneau cover still looks just as good as the day that I bought it. Now to dress these tires, I'm using some CarPro Pearl diluted 2-to-1, which is going to leave them with a nice matte finish when it dries. All right guys, and 7 hours later, I've got this Ford Ranger looking better than brand new. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And if you want to see some cleanup footage, stick around. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one.